Hi, my name is Frieda Belasco. I'm an intern here at Greenburgh Town Hall, and today I'm joined with two members of the Greenburgh Human Rights Advisory Committee. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you could both please introduce yourself, say how long you've been on the committee and your role on the committee.
I'm Lynn Goodman. I'm the co-chair of the committee. I've been on the committee maybe 8 years or so. Um, and I've been chair 4 years or so. I'm not sure. I don't have it seems like forever, but that's me.
I'm Reverend Lane Cobb, and I am co-chair with Lynn of the committee, and I've only been active for 3 years. I think it's 3 years. Um, and yeah,
Right, well, thank you so much for joining me on this interview today. To start off, what is the mission or the purpose of the Human Rights Advisory Committee, and then why is it important to the Greenburgh community?
well, um, we were launched in 2015 by the Greenburgh Town Board, and we're an all-volunteer committee, like other committees in Greenburgh. We were inspired by the Universal Declaration of Human Rights that was drafted by the United Nations. And so our function at this time is to provide information and education to the public and to promote human rights advocacy and also to respond to community concerns about human rights violations in Greenburgh, and which is extremely important because often people don't report human rights violations or they aren't sure whether or not their rights have been violated. And they will sometimes come to us because they trust us to advise them. And so we're largely an information gathering entity, but we have also collaborated with other community organizations like the NAACP, like the Westchester County Human Rights Commission, to provide forums and about issues that affect all of us as residents of Greenburgh, um, talking about race, talking about ableism, talking about gender and gender identity. And these are very important issues that often don't uh, don't get talked about enough. People don't understand. But that once we get people in a room talking with each other, we find that we all are human, and so we work with people to um, provide referrals if they need to consult with someone about whether their rights are violated. We've done webinars, film discussions, rallies, and other various public displays of just of support. So it's important that people understand that there is someone there that cares about whether their rights have been violated. And that was a
Yeah,
long answer to that question, but I hope that I tried to be kind of comprehensive.
That was a great
absolutely.
answer. So our committee is purely advisory. We have no policy making powers whatsoever. We focus on, as Lane said, educating the public and educating the board on very local issues involving human rights. And it's such a broad topic. One of our struggles is to figure out what do we focus on because we're a very small committee. Um, Over the last number of years, we've done seminars on immigration rights, housing rights. We've done panel discussions on what it's like to be a Black person in Greenburgh, what it's like to be a Jewish person, what it's like to be a woman of color, um, and what it's like to be an Asian person in Greenburgh. And different groups have created their own panels, and we've learned people's individual experiences living in Greenburgh in a particular class. And that's something that I don't think anybody else has offered over the last number of years. During COVID, we helped get food to people that needed it. Um, we've gotten involved with housing issues. People who are in public housing facilities have told us complaints about how they're being treated, and we have no power to adjudicate or to represent people on an individual level. But as Lane said, we will refer people to the resources that we know about.
It all sounds like very important work. So I know you all said that you started in 2015, so it's been about 10 years. And in that time, what have been the best accomplishments of the committee? And then on the flip side, what have been some of the biggest challenges that you have faced?
Well, I'll go. So I would say some of my best accomplishments are organizing big community forums on one thing or another. I started a pride rally uh, like 4 or 5 years ago. I organized the first Greenburgh Pride rally in Tarrytown, and then it grew to Tarrytown and Dobbs Ferry the next year. The year after, it was Tarrytown, Dobbs Ferry, and Ardsley. And now we have a new group of people putting on a pride rally pretty much every year. And it's grown and it has some momentum. My second year working with the committee, I organized awards, local hero awards, and I organized this big event at the Greenburgh Public Library, and I gave out awards to local heroes that we called it, which was an amazing event. Um, but it's so much work to do any one of these things that it's a full-time job. And if you have a full-time job, most of that's the problem is the individual work is not sustainable because we don't have enough people to do the legwork. We get no money, and we all have jobs, and so the frustration is seeing all of the issues and not having the capacity to deal with them. And I'll pass this on to Lane.
Yeah, thank you, Leonard, for sharing those accomplishments. And I agree with Lynn that the challenges are quite real, particularly in the last several years. It has been harder to get people to come on board with us. And I think it's unfortunate, but it's very true that when people are challenged, right, when people are worried about their well-being or their jobs or their their income or their children or so forth, they're stretched in so many different directions. And as we find ourselves in a time when there are greater challenges, I came on board when there were challenges in the town, Black Lives Matter and the murder of George Floyd are two things that stand out. And it's very, while it seems like that might be a time when people will become more active, often it's a time when people become more polarized and then don't come on board into a committee that's designed to find common ground. And so it's been a challenge lately for us to find people to come on board for our committee. And so we've grown quite thin, which is a shame because it takes everyone, it takes all of us to make a better world. And we need more people on our committee, quite frankly, to do the work that was done, quite frankly, before I came on board. It was a very robust committee. And we've done some things over the past 3 years, which we're very proud of. And we'd really like to do more because the work is needed. The work is needed. And I guess just finding people who have the time and the energy to commit to doing this work when they have other things pulling on them remains a challenge.
Right. Absolutely. And um, I understand that you need just more helping hands on the committee and more support. So how can Greenburgh residents get involved or stay informed about this committee?
Wait.
Well, we have an email address certainly that people can access. Lynn, you want to say what that is?
Sorry. It's Greenburgh Human Rights at gmail.com. Greenburgh Human Rights at gmail.com.
We also have a Facebook page. And we need help with our with that as well. We really do need help, with getting the word out that we are here, that we care, that we are here available to support people and provide information for people. And so we could use, I tell you, we could use some young folks. The people who are on committee, we have been here for quite some time. And it does take youth, it takes energy, and it takes a wider, as things change, the youth perspective and the youth voice is something that we have tried over time to lift up, and we know that it's necessary to actually create a movement that makes an impact. So we especially would, welcome young folks to come in, and anyone who has an interest in supporting human rights. We invite anyone who is interested to go and read the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. It's very, very moving. People don't really understand uh, what it means. Human rights are things like to have uh, safe housing is a human right, right? Clean water is a human right. Nutritious food is a human right, right? Have gainful employment is a human right. Education is a human right. Like those things that people are challenged with now are all human rights. And people don't, if people would recognize, listen, this is a human right and this is being violated, people can come in and have these conversations and we can work together to change things. Um, and so anyone in Greenburgh clearly is welcome to join us. People can come and join the committee if you want to actually join the committee. That does require having a conversation with the town board, but we, help you with that as well. And if you want to just come in and join our conversations and volunteer with us on a short basis, that's fine as well. So just email us at greenberghumanrights at gmail.com, and Lynn or I will certainly get back to you.
We had we've tried to create a student committee, and over the years we've had some success at some times and a lack of success at others. Right before COVID, we had several Ardsley High School students who were trying to organize an event between various high schools because the demographic groups of different high schools is different. And we thought that if people of different groups got together and really got to know each other, it would break down the boundaries. And just as that event was going to happen, COVID hit. It was literally in March of 2020 that these high schoolers were planning this, and COVID hit, and that plan was totally dashed. And we would love to have a group of dedicated high school students working with us, coming up with their own projects. We haven't had success in finding students who had the time to devote to seeing through a project. And we've tried, and we just haven't been able to find students with the time because usually they're in 11th grade or 12th grade and super busy. But we're asking if you know people or if we're seeking a call, calling out to people in high school to come with your own ideas, and then we can help you see them to fruition if they are realistic ideas.
Yeah, absolutely. And I really appreciate how you all value like youth support and youth voices in this. I think that's so important. My final question is, are there any upcoming meetings, events, or initiatives that you'd like to highlight?
Well, we have a Pride rally June 28th in Dobbs Ferry Riverfront Park. Um, so we need people. I'm working with the village of Dobbs Ferry and the village of Ardsley and a number of people on that. We'd like to have students help us table at that event. We've been invited to the Taste of Greenburgh event that the interns are running, I believe, on June 21st. We generally meet the third Thursday at 5:30. That date moves around. And Lane, you want to? There's a Juneteenth celebration that I think that's not our celebration, but that we're promoting.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about that?
Well,
Right.
the June, I think the Juneteenth for Greenburgh is this evening. Juneteenth that is being run by the Fairview Empowerment Group, are installing the the Greenburgh Black History Museum installation, and that's going to be on Juneteenth in Ardsley. Um, but the volunteer opportunities that are coming up are as Lynn said, the Taste of Greenburgh on June 21st in Hartsdale, and the Greenburgh Pride Rally on the 28th in Dobbs Ferry. And we'd love to see you there.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for doing this interview. I really appreciate it. It was great to learn all about the work that you guys do. And I mean, it's all so important and so interesting. So thank you for joining me in this conversation.
Thank you for inviting us.
Thank you, Frieda.